Welcome back. You're watching Daybreak on Citizen Television. Thank you for staying with us here on the broadcast. And with me in the studio is the former Governor West Pokot County, John Lonyangapuo. Diane Gashengo is the National Coordinator, the Institute of Social Accountability. And Gabriel Muduma is social political commentator. Owen Baya is the MP representing Kilifi North, as well as the Deputy Majority Leader of the United Democratic Alliance Party and the majority, and of course in Parliament. Gabriel, I come to you. Given that the government has assured security of Kenyans, because this is a democracy and it's very definite that there are some who don't agree with you. And talk to me about the thin line between the security element of it and the right to exercise that protest as enshrined in the Constitution.
In fact, Ayub, that has actually been, and I'm liking the fact that you've called it a thin line, because it's a very thin line. Because those articles, and I've had many people trying to use them and play around with the language. The example I can give you, and hopefully, it can lead us somewhere, is I'm given a license to drive, to operate a motor vehicle on the road. And as much I'm given that, it is not an absolute that, yes, I know how to drive. That's why I kept repeating, the right is not absolute. Yes, I have a driver's license, I have my own car, but I cannot inconvenience other motorists. Even they have a right to use the very same road. And that's why the thin line comes in, because, first of all, and I think we had this conversation some time back with Diane, I have never seen a political rally. I am yet to see. Mainly one organized by certain factions and certain parties that has actually been peaceful. I am yet to see. There's always a habit of things being destroyed, businesses being brought to a standstill, no movement, mobility is brought to a standstill. And Ayub, who can forget how many deaths have been reported, coming out of these rallies? So it is not really a culmination of, oh yes, it's hooray, it's my rights. Those rights that have governed you, or that have given you the right to picket, that have guaranteed you to go and do a peaceful assembly, also talks about being unarmed, and really reiterates on peaceful. So the minute you cross that line, you crawl back to the fact that the same security assigned to you is going to be used against you to ensure that peaceful and calm is brought back. So the thin line is the very same rights that you are assured. I am also assured the same rights that I'm going to run my business uninterrupted, that my motor vehicle will not be stoned, that my business will not be burnt down, and deaths are not going to be reported. So that is the vein, that's the very thin line. Now, coming to today's demonstration, Honorable Raila has actually put it out what it's going to be. He said he's going to spill the beans about how the election was stolen. And really the platform for this demonstration, and I stand corrected, Ayub, has to do with IEBC, unless you don't live in this country. And I wish it had things to do with, what Governor was saying, the consultativeness. Because if it was really consultative, if it was really looking for solutions, then Parliament, to me, is the best platform. It offers the best platform to engage. So I think on this other one, yes, they have the rights, but they should not fringe on the rights of others.
Okay, let's hear from the Interior CS, Professor Kithure Kindiki, who spoke on the same yesterday and spelled out tough measures, saying that despite the guarantees given by the Constitution over the demonstrations as enshrined in law, then the rule of law as well must be upheld. He spoke yesterday at Harambee House here in Nairobi County.
Even in the agenda that those who want to protest beginning this week are engaged in, so long as it is lawful agenda, the same way your rights are protected, the rights of other Kenyans who do not agree with you are equally protected.
That is the Interior CS who yesterday spoke on the same. Honorable Owen Baya, there's the general consensus about the concerns this has brought about in the sense of the economy, the dipping in terms of the concerns, and of course, foreign direct investment, which to some extent might create fears to the investors who are coming into the country. I mean, how does the government approach this with regards to the concerns that the opposition has?
We have fundamental rights that we must respect as government. We also have an economy to grow and to protect. And if today this government says we're going to break those rallies, it will even give fodder for chaos. And that's what the president said. Let's give them an opportunity. Let's do it differently. In the past, police have been used to cordon the grounds and send away people, and eventually, those people attack the police, and we have chaos. When we have chaos like that, the economy even goes down. The president says, let's do a different approach. Let's allow them, but let them have the responsibility to ensure that they have kept peace. Now, in the event there is no peace, then the government will say, we give you an opportunity to do your rallies, but it degenerated into to chaos. So probably we should rethink these demonstrations or these dialogues that you want to have. When we were in Kilifi last weekend with the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, I told him to his face, you see, you cannot bring demonstrations here because after COVID, this is the only time that the tourism in my constituency and the coast is trying to pick up after COVID. When you bring these demonstrations, very many cancellations would be made. I've had several discussions with some of the hoteliers in my constituency who are telling me, we are losing clients. Alpitur, which is one of the biggest tour operators that brings in a lot of tourists to my area, called me and told me, if this is how you're going to go, then I do not think we want to take tourists to Kenya if there will be demonstrations, because when they hear Raila Odinga speak about demonstrations, they know this country is going to have chaos. So we have an economic agenda. I want tourism to come back after COVID. A lot of people have lost a lot of money because of COVID. Now, after COVID, we are looking at an economy that will grow. There's also the fear of the elections. So a lot of investors held back. Now we had a peaceful election, and things are looking like they are good, and people are coming into the country to want to invest. The tour operators are saying now cost will have more. We've looked at the situation, and we've said, look, we're going to have a robust tourism season. But with demonstrations, I can tell you, we're going to have a lot of cancellations. And the people that will suffer most, the coast region will suffer most. But Raila Odinga got a lot of his votes from coast region. He doesn't think about them. He doesn't think about that. He thinks about, I lost an election and I need to engage this William Ruto, and the best way is to hold demonstrations and destroy a nascent economy, an economy that is picking up.
Okay. Yep. Diane, I come to you because speaking over the weekend, the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said, we won't allow events as they happened in March 2018, talking about the handshake, and that figuratively speaking, he said Odinga is seeking another handshake with the government of the day. I mean, how do you speak to the establishment's suspicion over each other in regards to accountability, and do they understand the mood music in the country?
Ayub, right there, I think it is the political distrust that has gotten us to where we are. And every side, whether they are in power or out of power, every time they are thinking of how to get ahead of their opponent. I am not yet convinced that either side in this particular conversation really cares about what is right and about the people. There's nothing to show so far objectivity, non-alignment, bipartisanship. None of the side. We are still in the political mood where people are trying to show their political bravado. Definitely, the quest for improving our electoral process has been an ongoing one. 2013, we had an attempt that then culminated into the 2016. 2018, there were all these demonstrations. Eventually, there was a handshake, okay? A handshake that honestly destabilized our democracy. It created 5 years of governance chaos. We were not sure who to go to for opposition, who is in government. We disrupted everything, including the setup of security organs. If that is the intention, then we are going into a major, it feels like a constitutional consultation.
Okay, but Diane, then you
need...
talked about bipartisan approach to these problems, and
Yes.
it more or less is a two-way street, and the leverage seems to be lying, consensus as we agree here, with, for example, the bicameral parliament. But my question is then, why does the political establishment in Kenya unable to read the mood of the day in the country?
The mood, they set the mood. Increasingly, sometimes they read the mood, but often, most of the times, they turn it around and they set the narrative. Sometimes it is us Kenyans who are the problem for allowing them to come and set agendas that do not necessarily, are not the priorities for that particular moment. At this particular point, if IEBC sees such a crisis, Parliament and all MPs should be concerned, because that's where they are processed, all the 7. The issue of hunger, the issue of food prices, the issue of GMO is such a major pain for us Kenyans, but nobody seems to be leading us very, very, very objectively.
Okay.
So that particular issue, and that's where, let me go back to social accountability, because sometimes at the ballot, it's already pre-selected.
In terms of, what do you mean? Because it's the Kenyan people exercise that right.
So one, the political party primaries and nomination, there are so many factors. It is, I will go for Owen with a bat, okay? Then the other party will bring another candidate. So the choices are already, the narrative again has been set. It is loyalty to the party.
Okay.
It is people who can mobilize very well based on a narrative. So I think increasingly, I look forward to the day we Kenyans, we truly the people, who are not Azimio or Kenya Kwanza, we do not have a big stake. Everybody has a stake. We do not have a big stake. We'll set the agenda, call for those consultative meetings, and come back and present them to the leadership.
Well, understandably, the Constitution does provide in the very first article that all sovereign power belongs to the people of the Republic of Kenya, and without them, there can be no exercise of authority because they delegate that power to whoever rules over them. Coming to you, Honorable John Lonyangapuo, because I want us by extension also to look at the creation of the Office of the Official Opposition Leader. But one final question on this. There seems to be deep frustrations, and this again largely revolves around the policy-making processes. How does then the country's political establishment understand that we need to make Kenya export-oriented economy, boost the consumer confidence, improve retail sales, growth, employment, addressing the cost of corruption, overseas even investment, because now we have a diaspora office for the same, and also improve honest stock exchange, because agriculture seems to be a focus for the current government of the day. When will all this be a priority for the country's establishment?
Definitely, with the program we seem to have at hand, if I look at the headlines and what is written in the papers, Azimio is calling for 30 days of anti-Ruto protests. To me, this is a misplaced agenda. Is it Ruto that is the problem? Or what is the problem? Because 2-3 days earlier, we heard that the way the IPC members are being removed is the problem.
Okay.
Suddenly, it has now changed from that to something else here. 30 days meaning, it means there is an agenda for day 1, day 2, day 3, and who is going to attend? We are actually calling these same people we are supposed to be shepherding them to have their daily cause and feeding their own families and running their own affairs into some kind of an agenda that I don't know. So on day 1, who will feed you? Day 2, day 3, what happens? So and where is the avenue and venue? Are we saying that all Kenyans should migrate from every corner in the Republic and come to Kamukunji in Kibra? Was it Kibra or
Kamukunji.
Yeah?
Kamukunji is in Kamukunji constituency.
It is Kibra, grounds in Kibra. Oh, Kibra grounds. It's written. So are we saying we should now migrate from all the other constituencies to come here? So I think we've lost it. And the buyer, you are here, my brother and all of you. You know, you just were elected. Do you know how many days you are in office?
100 plus.
100 plus. And we have many more to go.
Yes.
So you people, you have now the mandate. That's why we elected you people. And some of us are outside watching and giving it opportunity. It doesn't mean that we don't know what we are doing also. You should be the one calling the shots now. You have the people's mandate.
Okay.
Irrespective of which political affiliation you are in, Raila is outside like us. You have the mandate. Unless and until this is done, which is to me is good, we are going to discuss next when we are saying this
Official opposition.
Oh yes, and when that one is finally comes to for discussion, that's better. I mean, we can see what to do with it. But at the moment, our own elected, irrespective of which side of politics they are in, should be seen talking today.
Okay.
Should be seen running the show today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Certainly the call to the members of the bicameral parliament. One final question and some clarity. You are the leader of the Kenya Union Party, which is within the framework of the Azimio coalition. And you have said that there has been a mutation from anti-IEBC removal protest to now what you say is anti-Ruto. Certainly a change in terms of the tone. But as a member of the coalition political party, have you picked up this matter with the top organ of the party? Because you are painting a picture of Raila playing the man and not the ball.
What's the difference between the man and the ball?
Clearly there's a difference. You play the ball to score, not the man, because that's an injury.
All of them are in the field. Either way, what I did mention is that this pronounced position is not a unilateral position for all the Azimio aligned parties. The ideal position would be to call all the parties together,
Okay.
discuss and come up with a way forward so that our team leader could now pronounce what we all agreed. But I won't continue waiting and observing things from West Pokot where I am normally, at the moment I am herding my cows and being a farmer. It will be awkward when I see a position being given on our behalf. So I said, no, that one, we need to correct it.
Okay.
And because it has moved so fast, we don't have to wait up to today. It's today that's starting. That's why we quickly, yesterday, had to give the position.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Gabriel, let me come to you as we get the sound bites of Kimani Ichung'wah, the leader of the majority party.